House Talk Tuesdays, where homeownership meets luxury, legacy, and lifestyle. I'm your host, Daphne Davis, your trusted real estate expert, entrepreneur, and wealth builder. This isn't just a podcast, it's a movement. Whether you're buying your first home, investing in your future, or elevating your lifestyle, we're here to give you the insights, inspiration, and strategies to build a life of wealth and sophistication. So grab your favorite drink, settle into your dream mindset, and let's talk house. Because home isn't where you live, it's where you build your legacy. Welcome to the conversation. Welcome back to House Talk Tuesdays. Thinking about selling your home? Before you list, let's talk strategy. In this episode of House Talk Tuesdays, we're breaking down the power of staging and smart pricing. These are two essential ingredients for getting top dollar in today's market. Learn how to make buyers fall in love at first sight. If you love real estate reality shows like I do, you know that staging is a game changer. My favorite, Selling Sunset, because it's over the top luxury. They turn small listings into big time deals, all in one season, or maybe all in one episode. Well, we know there's nothing small about Sunset. But let's be real. We don't have that kind of time, so we have to price our homes right from the start. The goal is to discover pricing techniques that attract the right offers. Then we're going to discuss how to avoid common mistakes that could cost you thousands. Whether you're a first-time seller or looking to upgrade your strategy, this episode is packed with tips to help you sell smarter, not harder. Settle in, grab your coffee, grab your tea, or whatever it is that you drink, because we're about to elevate your selling game. Let's start the conversation. In our last episode, Lease to Legacy, we focused on buyers. But today we're shifting gears and we're going to focus on sellers. There's always a battle going on in the market between buyers and sellers, but I love them both just the same. That's my job. Now, the real estate market operates in seasons. Some of you may have noticed and some of you may not, and you don't really think about it until you're actually in the market to buy or sell a home. People, they often ask me, they often ask other realtors, is this a buyer's or a seller's market? Or they even ask the question, what is a buyer's market or what is a seller's market? Well, that's all going to depend on supply and demand. In a buyer's market, there are more homes available than buyers. Buyers have the negotiating power and they have better deals, and sellers must focus on marketing, repairs, and competitive pricing to stand out. In a seller's market, there are more buyers than available homes. Sellers, they do have the upper hand. Buyers, this is when you need to come prepared. I cannot stress the importance of this. Get pre-approved. You want to have that pre-approval letter in your hand. That means that the bank, the lender, the credit union has already verified your documentation, your income, and they say you are good to go. A pre-qualification letter is when you call up your lender and you just give them your information verbally, and based on what you told them, they'll give you that pre-qualification letter if you qualify based on what you told them. But the pre-approval, you are going to send in your documentation and they're going to verify. And that's when proof is in the pudding. You need cash in hand and be ready to make those strong offers. I said be ready to make your best and final offers. And when it's a seller's market, oftentimes you are going to be paying above the asking price. So be prepared for that as well. For first-time home buyers and sellers, let's make this simple. KISS, keep it simple. Hire a real estate agent. Find one you trust and stick with them. It's a conflict of interest bouncing from agent to agent. You have an agent, but you want to pick up the phone and call another agent and ask a question because you feel like your agent don't know the answer, or you feel like you've bothered or called your agent too many times. No, that's our job. That's our due diligence to help you. So if you need to call me 1,000 times, do what you need to do to get clarity. So whenever you're under a buyer's or seller's representation agreement, guys, calling other agents, it is a conflict. So committing to an agent is one of the smartest moves you can make. Today's episode is entitled The Art and Strategy of Selling. Maximize your home's value. Selling a home is more than just putting a sign in the front yard, Mr. Davis. It's about making a return on your investment and building legacy wealth. Your first step, you want to formulate a strategy, have a marketing plan. Sellers, you have questions, and agents, you better be ready with the answers. Sellers, you also might be wondering, and I know inquiry minds want to know, how do I set the right asking price? That's a good question. First, you're going to start with knowing the fair market value of your home. What's the value of the homes in the area? What is the value of your home? And you can go to the tax roll, your appraisal district, and it's going to give you the value of your property, your home improvement, the improvement, and it's going to give you the value of the land. Then you're going to use the tax roll to get the comps in your area and compare properties that are similar to yours. Now, oftentimes, sellers may say, well, I put in a 14 karat gold sink and I put in a pool and I have marble floors. That's all great, good, and dandy. Some of those items will add value and some of them just add luxury. So again, it depends on the comps in the area and how your appraisal or your appraiser appraises that property. You also ask, how much will this cost me? Another good question. There's a lot that goes into the closing costs. Those are called your seller's costs. And that's a whole nother episode, and we'll talk about that. Remember, this episode is going to give you lots of information in bite-sized pieces. Another question, do I have enough equity to cover closing costs? Well, what is equity? Well, the amount that you owe on the property, if you owe anything, minus the appraised value or minus the guesstimation. So say for instance, you only owe $150,000 on your home, but your property is worth $650,000. Well, you're going to subtract that $150,000 from the $650,000, and that gives you your equity. That equity is $500,000. And then the last question, and I'm just giving you a few questions that sellers ask. Am I willing to negotiate? Maybe. That's all up to you if you want the deal. And what services will my agent provide? And again, that should be included in your marketing plan designed by your trusted agent. These are all valid questions, and today we're tackling the answers head on. Sellers, listen up. These mistakes could cost you thousands. Before you list your home, let's talk about the expensive missteps that can leave serious money on the table. 1. Overpricing from the start. I know you love your home. I love my home too, but buyers and appraisers don't see our sentimental value. They see market value. Overpricing can cause your home to sit longer, leading to price drops and weaker offers down the line. Also, it can lead into selling your neighbor's home down the street if you overprice the property. So price it right and price it right away. Number 2, skipping repairs and staging. A loose doorknob, faded paint, a dirty diaper, ragged carpet. That might be minor to you, but it's a red flag to buyers. If your home isn't staged to impress, you're losing money before they even step inside. Clean, declutter, and present a move-in ready space for top dollar. Number 3, curb appeal. The first impressions are lasting impressions. It starts from the driveway. Overgrown lawns, chip paint, or a tired front door can turn buyers off before they enter in. A little freshening up goes a very long way. Number 4. Let me keep my numbers in order. List limiting showings. I know it's inconvenient, but that's why you have a buyer's agent, and that's why we should set an appointment. But if buyers can't see it, they won't buy it, so you have to be available to show your home. Be flexible with showing times so the right buyer can walk through and fall in love. Guys, I know you want to protect your property. Sellers, you want to protect your property. But when there's an appointment, you should find something to do. It's very uncomfortable for the seller to be in the home along with the agent and the client, the agent and the buyer. It could cause you to lose a deal because they don't feel comfortable enough to talk about the property, because they're trying to be respectful because you're present. So find something to do, go to dinner, take a walk, but you at least should give them 15 to 30 minutes to view your home, depending on how large it is. Taking the highest offer without looking at the terms. And we are on number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's number 5. Taking the highest offer without looking at the terms. The biggest number isn't always the best deal, because first of all, do we know that they have approved financing? Do we know that they have down payment and closing costs? So let's not look at the biggest number. Let's look at the whole offer. Your agent, your expert can go over every offer with you to make sure that you get the best deal. A cash offer or solid financing with fewer contingencies can be worth more than a sky-high offer that may fall apart. Know the difference. Avoid these pitfalls, and you're on your way to becoming a stellar seller. So sellers, here's your golden opportunity. Sellers, the best time to sell is when demand exceeds supply. A seller's market means fewer homes, higher prices, and buyers racing to bid. But even in a hot market, strategy matters. I know you love your home and you believe it's worth a golden egg price, but let's talk Facts. Market value, comparable pricing, days on market, home condition, location. All of this matters. According to an article by Trevor James, in a seller's market, low inventory plus high demand equals high prices with little room for negotiation. But that doesn't mean you should go in without a plan. Always have a plan. No matter what you do in life, we need plans. And it is very important. Realtors are valuable. Not all real estate agents are called realtors. So you may hear a lot of people say, oh, my realtor. It's realtors. And realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors, also known as NAR. And they follow a strict code of ethics to protect you. Some agents choose not to be a part of the association, so they're just real estate agents. So here's what a realtor brings to the table. They can provide up-to-date market information, pricing, financing, and competition. Realtors, they can market your home effectively to agents, buyers, and the public. Realtors know the best marketing strategies for your property. They help you evaluate offers objectively and guide you through the closing process. I love working with my buyers and sellers because my goal is to guide you through every step of the way. So I have some pro tips for you stellar sellers. Make your property stand out in the crowd with strategic marketing. That is the key. Complete necessary repairs. Buyers want move-in ready homes. If you're selling as is, be ready to negotiate. Depersonalize and declutter. Curb appeal and staging matters. A clean, neutral home sells faster. Price competitively. Pricing too high can backfire, even in a seller's market. Leverage seller concessions. While less common in a seller's market, incentives can close the deals. Sometimes your buyers need a little help. If you can afford it, if you got a good heart, if you want to have a little mercy, throw in a little bit of seller's concession. A home warranty, a little bit on the closing costs, maybe a little bit on the down payment costs, maybe some repairs. But you can include that in your price. So if you were going to list the price at $650,000, but you want to help in on the deal, you might do it for $645,000. That $5,000 when it comes to commissions and what you're going to get, you're barely going to miss that. To simplify our market dynamics, buyer's market equals more homes, more choices, more power for buyers. Seller's market equals fewer homes, higher prices, competitive offers. That's why buying or selling, having a trusted real estate agent in your corner is key. And I have a bonus for you before we wrap up. You want to know how to calculate months of inventory? You want to know if it's a seller's market? And then the vice versa, that will be a buyer's market. So use this simple formula. Take your active listings divided by homes sold equals months of inventory. So for example, there are 7,730 active listings, and you're going to divide that by 3,740 homes sold. That equals 2.06 months of inventory. Anything under 6 months is a seller's market. Anything over 6 months. That means properties are standing over 6 months, or properties are available under 6 months is a seller's market. Over the 6 months threshold, you're in a buyer's market. Sellers, when inventory is low and buyers are hungry, you may just find yourself in a bidding war. That's when it's your time to shine. Guys, I hope that this episode was impactful. I hope that it was filled with information that will give you insights to maneuver in your next journey to sell your first home, your second home, or if you're just gleaning information to know the real estate market. Even as an agent, there are lots of new agents out there. They are looking for mentorship. They're looking for training. They're just looking for additional knowledge to help them grow their business. So if you like this episode, like, share, comment, and guys, make sure that you follow House Talk Tuesdays on Spotify. Until next time, thanks for listening to the conversation. Bye-bye for now.